Hello, my children of a lesser god. Today I got a quite big package here. Big package. And I'm gonna open it for you with. I don't know if you guys have seen this knife. You probably have. I forget. I've used so many knives in unboxing and opening videos, as you guys and Job know, and Job's used knives too, that I can't remember which ones I've showed you and which ones you haven't seen, because I am a knife collector. But this came from California in 3 days. Would have been impossible back in the 1970s. I'm going to put the microphone down and proceed to open it. Now that we've got that taken care of, here we go. I love how safely they wrap this. I love it. And it didn't even mention it came with a case. It did not. It came with a JVC case. Um, this is used $124. That's including shipping, so it was $109 and $15 shipping for the priority mail box. It is the Canon Vixia HF 300. Now, a lot of you will say, well, that's an old camera. Well, here's what happened. Here's what ended up happening was I was reading reviews on the internet, and the internet, of course, being as almighty and all-knowing as it is, said on multiple websites that this shot in 1080p 60 frames per second. Well, after it was here 2 days ago, I found the official Canon website said the same thing pretty much. Then someone who actually, I read reviews too. People were saying, "Well, it films in 60 frames per second, blah blah blah." And I found one that said does not film in 60 frames per second. The 1080 60i actually turns into 1080 30p, which is 1080 30 frames per second. And so if any camera says 1080 60, I don't get it because it's just going to be 30 frames per second. This shoots in AVC HD video format and also MP4 format. It supports SDXC 1920 by 1080 recording, full 1080 HD, HD CMOS, full HD. Of course, same thing I read last time. Canon Vixia HFR 300, HD video lens, intelligent image stabilizer, dynamic, Digi DV3 format, smart auto, and it's YouTube ready. One of my favorite parts about this lot is the insult to Canon that the guy gave me, which was a JVC case. JVC is another company that makes cameras and a whole bunch of other things of lesser quality than Canon, but that's, well, that's an opinion, I should say. But they make Handycams too. It says it takes SDXC, but I'm going to warn you, I've read reviews of a few people that got PO'd and said it clearly says SDXC cards and it didn't work. So some of you, I don't know if it's the brand of SDXC card that they used. They're different from SD cards. Slightly different look, slightly different write speeds, size, things like that. So that's just a warning. HDMI ready. It has an external mic jack, they said, and it has an external headset. So you can plug a headset in and hear your external mic and make sure it's working. And I think I've showed you pretty much everything. Time to open it up. It's used. It's not new. But the guy said he's only used it like 7 times. Bought it off their website before they discontinued it. Oh, cool. Awesome. Comes with the manual. And I've read that this interface is really confusing, but I don't know what these people's experience were. But 100 people said that they had, 100 people at least, said that theirs didn't come with a manual. Mine did. Wow. And that it was confusing. But then again, I've been using cameras and handycams and DSLRs for quite a while. Wow, it came with the software that nobody uses. software CDs nobody uses, because Canon doesn't. They're Oh wow, it's all wrapped up. He has the original bubble wrap. He has the original bubble wrap. You're not looking at me obviously because I don't have a shirt on that's ugly. And the original, well, it's not the original charger. I think he said he lost it, but it comes with the charger. But he put it in the bubble wrap for the original one. And a mini HDMI cable. Why don't their DSLRs come with this? Why don't their Rebel series come with these? I had to freaking take one from one of my other things and use it on it. Why don't their Canon? Why would you give your handycams the mini HDMI to HDMI adapter, but you won't bring it with your freaking Rebel cameras? Really? And oh yeah, the spare battery. He said he gave me a spare battery, but that remains to be seen. Here's the battery, the whatever that is. Have no idea. Anyone of you knows what that is, the bomb thing? But the battery, he said it came with a spare battery, so I'm gonna. Sometimes I've had a lot of issues with people on eBay forgetting to put stuff in the box, so hopefully this isn't one of those situations. Hopefully it's in the camera already. Yes, it is. He said he bought an external one because the factory one I read is shit. Um, Here it is, the piece de resistance, as the French would call it. Look at that. Look at that luster. I read that the build quality is pretty much crap, but I haven't used one of these in so long, a Canon one, that I don't even remember what they feel like. But here's the record button, that's standard right there. Battery goes here. Power button, that's unique right there. Zoom in, zoom out. Speaker, HD CMOS right there. 51x times zoom, advanced zoom, Vixia HF R300 HD Canon, and yes, a tripod mount and another tripod mount if you have a European tripod, has a different mount, and the button for the lens protector, and it's a bitch. But yeah, right there. I'm surprised he left the battery in it. But yeah, it does shake. You do hear noise on the inside. How do you? Oh, you have. I wish I had more light. There's a video snap button, a home button, and a view video button, and it says Dolby Digital Stereo Creator Sound. You have your external mic, headset, HDMI, USB, and FireWire, and your SD card goes right in there. There's a little flap right there. You open that flap right by the battery, and there's your SD card. And it did come with a 32 gigabyte SD card. So some of you that are saying, well, you spent too much. Well, no, it came with a spare battery and the HDMI and the 32 SD. Now let's get ready for some tests as soon as I figure out if this battery's going to work. This is indoors without an external microphone and no headset in. This is the default microphone, and I'm going to also test out the zoom image stabilization, and this is me using the standard cinematic effect. It records at 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second, which is the standard for cinema. So it's kind of a little choppy, at least on your recording screen, and that's exactly how movies are, though. And usually when you record anything in cinema, it's going to look choppy on your screen just a little bit, and then when you edit it, it's going to look a little choppy, but not as much. So this is the cinematic mode. A lot of people, I'm sure, don't test this. You have to change the setting on the home button menu to manual settings, and it gives you this option. That's how you also change the MP4 format and the frames per second, 24 or 30. But that's what it looks like if you're using it for the cinema function. Here is a moving subject. I will call her Granny Grunt. The color looks accurate so far. This is with the zoom speed set to the second notch for that dramatic, something bad is about to happen that they use in film. I am testing out an external microphone. The level of recording is at 49. Always make sure you turn your external microphone settings on any camera you use to manual. A lot of people were saying that this camera's audio faded in and out with their external mics. It's because you have automatic gain control, AGC, turned on. Always have it on manual. Automatic gain control makes it to where when someone stops talking, it amplifies the noise and it goes and fades everything else for a few seconds until you start talking. Always have it on manual. Manual is where it stays at one level consistently. Now let's test the wire. If you move the camera, let's see if it makes any noise because of the wire that's connected to it. And yes, it appears it does have a very sensitive wire function. Another low light test. I have it on the 1080p 60i again with the lowest setting you can get for colorization. Obviously there's a blending going on, a blending mode as it fades. See, and then wha-bam. But a lot of people said that this sucks with low light. And I'm sure it does. You can see a little bit of grain right here. Right there's some grain. That's where the grain is. Even, yeah. But then again, you can't really expect to get too much quality out of a consumer class Handycam that originally it cost $399 when it first came out, but that's beside the point. But you just can't. You have to spend at least over $1,000 before you get it to where there's very little noise on any camera, except for DSLRs. But they are, if you're a newbie to them, they are very confusing. It's a learning process with how to get the grain to almost be non-existent on those. Doing test shots outside. Microphone is the built-in microphone. And I kind of just want to say something about the people that were saying that they hear parts wobbling on the inside. I don't believe it's actual parts. I believe it's the image stabilizer sensor that's actually wobbling to help stabilize the picture. So yeah, with this camera you will notice some bokeh. I don't know if there's some bokeh in the background while the subject is in focus. That's what bokeh is, or as the Japanese say, I believe it's bokeh, depending on which region of Japan you're from. But yeah, there is some bokeh, background blur. So that's always good for the cinematic look, even though I'm on 60i and not cinematic mode.